I want to take this now to Bob Kolasky, who's the former assistant director at our cybersecurity infrastructure agency for the government. He's the vice president at Exiger these days. Yeah, I think I saw you, the way our studio's set up, you saw me walk over here, Bob. I think I saw you nodding along, and you can correct me if there was maybe something else, when Nancy was talking about how these facilities have always been kind of quote-unquote soft targets. That we've been thinking about this for a while, or?
Yes, I think that's certainly true, Connell. The water infrastructure has a couple realities. One, it's old infrastructure that's underfunded, and that includes the IT systems that run it, and then it relies on operational technology to help operate the water system, and that sort of technology is not replaced frequently. So you have an area where the actual basic computing design of what's allowed water to be more digitized is outdated, and when that happens, there's cyber vulnerabilities. And we often talk about, Connell, that when there's cyber vulnerabilities, that's where these threat actors start to look for ways to attack, and that's what we're talking about here with China and Iran.
Yeah, I know it sounds overly simplistic, but when you come on, you're either going to scare us, right, or you're going to reassure us in some ways. Maybe sometimes it's something in between. But how worried should we be about this particular threat, do you think?
So let's leave with the reassurance as much as possible.
Good.
I mean, some level of reassurance in one of the other parts of the water infrastructure is it's not massively connected. So while there are lots of water facilities that are vulnerable, it's not like all the infrastructure is connected to each other. So we're talking about individual water treatment plants, which of course will have impact if something happens to the plants in terms of the systems operating. But it's hard to get something that's too cascading in an attack on water infrastructure. So here we're really talking about systems that need to be hardened for the purpose of maintaining water availability within their communities. The other aspect of water infrastructure is since it isn't that modern infrastructure, you can go back to doing things, non-automated, non-digitized. It's a lot more analog than the financial system is, for example, and that does create a little more resilience.
Is that the thing that a guy like you stays up worrying about the financial system more so than this? I mean, whereas this is a worry, obviously, what's the biggest worry now when we talk China, Iran, and our hacking, issues that we have security-wise?
I mean, it's hard to place them one versus the other.
Okay.
I'm all for what the administration is doing is to put some attention and plan for the fact that there could be some cyber attacks on this. But this is not the most systemic of cyber risks that's out there. This is something that certainly has the potential to cause harm and fear and disruption, but it's not going to bring down communities the level that things that happen in cyber can happen. I mean, we've seen devastating impacts on communities from just old water infrastructure. I don't know that I think there's anything that can happen from a cyber means that's worse than what's happened in Mississippi or in Flint, Michigan a few years ago from just lead getting into water. So there are other scenarios with water infrastructure that are equally or perhaps more concerning.
Right. Yeah, that was. I mean, Flint was terrible. Oh, sorry. Make that last point real quick, Bob. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, let's use the opportunity with the $31 billion of investment to upgrade some of these technologies, which will take some of these risk off the table.
Fair enough. Thanks for joining us as always, explaining all these issues to us, and we'll take the reassurance over being scared, right? Bob Kolasky. All right.